If you own a business of any kind, I would strongly encourage you not to make these mistakes that we're going to talk about in this video. Hi, my name is Cicely. I am the CEO and founder of Elevate Collective, a marketing and branding company very passionate about helping small businesses and entrepreneurs achieve their dreams in business by targeting their audiences and creating the products that those target audiences want and getting the results that they have dreamed of. Now, today we're going to be talking about a lesson that I think every small business owner and entrepreneur should learn from. It's something relatively simple, but a lot of businesses, for whatever reason, choose to go down this route. And I just would like to give you some tips and tricks on how to avoid that. So we're going to be taking a look at a company that is very near and dear to my heart in my personal life, and it is HerInteractive. And if you've never heard of HerInteractive, it is a company that developed a very popular line of games for amateur sleuths and people who are just your puzzle kings and queens and people who like to solve mysteries, and it is the Nancy Drew games. Now, HerInteractive has developed 34 games for Nancy Drew, starting with the very first game coming out in 1998, and this was produced for Windows, and it was a two-dimensional cartoon game that was later remastered in 2010. Now, they do have 34 at this point. For the longest time, their business model was to develop one game a year or one game every 6 months. And that is a lot to push out. Within the first 10 years of their business doing these Nancy Drew games, they had already put out almost 20 games. That is a lot for a company, but they became very widely successful and very well known. And because they had so many games coming out so quickly, they developed a very big fan base. Now, the functionality of the games is very simple. You needed a Windows computer, at least in the beginning, and a mouse. It was very simple. The flow of the game was point and click. You would navigate around the map, talk with the characters, unravel the mystery as you solved puzzles. It was all very, very simple. Starting in 1998, obviously they were going to be limited on the graphics and the story, but as they got better and as they produced more of these games, especially very quickly, the graphics became better, the stories were more interesting, and of course their fan base grew. Now, not every single Nancy Drew game that they produced was the #1 favorite of all of their fan base, but they progressively got better during that time up until their 32nd game. It was produced in 2015. It was called Sea of Darkness. So starting back in 1998 all the way up to 2015, they had produced 32 games, and the graphics had gotten so amazing with such a simple format of a game that the fans loved this game. It is rated one of the most beautiful Nancy Drew games, one of the best stories that they've done. So if we take a look at this chart from Sassy Detective, they surveyed over 400 people, and it looks like the favorite was Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon. It had a really, really great story, lots of characters in there, and then we can see that the games over time, so this is all of the games in order that they were produced, starting with Secrets Can Kill and ending with Midnight in Salem. All of these games up until this very last one, Midnight in Salem, was the entire game format was the same and the animation was getting better. And we see here that there is quite a few games to pick from if you were looking for a Nancy Drew game to pick at any given moment to play. So from the very first game that was released up until Midnight in Salem, and now in 2024 we had our Mystery of the Seven Keys, one that was just put out as well. Up until Midnight in Salem and Mystery of the Seven Keys, the format of the game was the same. It was point and click. The animation was getting better, a little bit more appealing, a little bit more realistic. By the time that they had released Sea of Darkness, there was an expectation for them to produce another game very quickly. They had a reputation for doing so. 2 a year at the bare minimum, 1 per year. And at the end of every Nancy Drew game, there was going to be a trailer for the next one. If you play it through the end of Sea of Darkness, you get a trailer for Midnight in Salem. When Midnight in Salem was being developed, after they had released Sea of Darkness, when they produced the trailer, apparently it was postponed with financial difficulties at Her Interactive, they laid off some of the staff, including the game developers and a couple other people, which delayed the game. What was originally a game every year at the bare minimum with Midnights in Salem, because there was a delay due to financial difficulties, became a game every 5 years. There was a lot of anticipation surrounding this game, and when it finally rolled out, the fans were very disappointed. If we look objectively at the reviews of their game, you can see that it is mixed for Midnight in Salem, but the people who do not like it don't like it a lot, and that is quite a problem that you don't want to have. Because there were financial difficulties at the company, including a lot of layoffs, they hired a brand new CEO, and the game was being developed under a new team of people. Now, what made Nancy Drew games as popular as they were by the time that we reached number 32 was a specific loyalty to the nostalgic elements of the game and the way that it had always been done. So when the game was released and the fans were able to purchase the game and play it, there was a lot of disappointment around the entire rebranding and presentation of the Nancy Drew games. Not only did they change the way that the game was played, they changed everything about the games. From a marketing standpoint, this is a product that you are developing. So if you've done it the same way 32 times for almost 20 years, and then you have a new product that you're going to roll out, there's a lot of anticipation surrounding it because there's a mega delay with it, only to give all of your loyal customers something completely different. Yes, there's going to be quite a lot of disappointment surrounding that. Obviously, at some point, they were going to need to change the voice actress. Obviously, at some point, they were going to improve on their product. But because money got tight, they decided to pivot and completely rebrand the entire thing, hire all new voice actors, hire new animators, and completely change the whole product. And the whole reason why the Her Interactive fan base was so upset was because the product that they wanted was the one that they were attached to originally. And you have to remember that if you create a loyal customer base, it's because they are attached to the feeling that your product is giving them. And so if you change the product, then you change the feeling. And that will create a divide in your customers, those who can accept the new product and move with you, and those who don't like that product and will go and find that same feeling somewhere else. And that is the major lesson that we all can learn as small business owners and entrepreneurs. If we create a loyal fan base based off of the product that we are giving our customers and the way that it makes them feel, we should not just pivot and change everything simply because money is tight. And I hate to say that. If you can avoid being cheap simply to save money, trust me, your customers will thank you for it. There is no faster way to kill your momentum in business than to change the product that your loyal and returning customers love and are attached to. That is a surefire way to make your customers leave and go shop somewhere else. So if you're anything like me and you find yourself as a return customer at certain businesses because the product that they offer is consistent and valuable, and there isn't a nostalgia around the emotions that you feel, then you can take those same principles and apply them to your business. I highly recommend that small businesses and entrepreneurs find a product that they can duplicate without spending too much money so they don't find themselves in the same position that Her Interactive did when money got tight. And that way you won't make these same mistakes that Her Interactive made and inevitably kill all of the momentum that you had developing your customer and fan base. This is what we went from. Beautiful game. The animation was beautiful. The layout, of course, was a little dated because it was that square model. We spent so much time getting to this point in the Nancy Drew world of things. The graphics were beautiful. It took 30 games to get here to where the graphics were a lot more realistic and beautiful to look at. And of course, that makes your customers want to spend more money, recommend it to their friends, spend more time playing your game, review it better. And then we jump to the very next game that followed it. And there is a drastic change in the overall layout of the game. The character's animation is completely different and it's cheap looking. That says a lot to your customers. With their latest game, Mystery of the Seven Keys, which is game number 34, HerInteractive, after making the mistake that they did with Midnight in Salem, decided to stay the course with the new animation style, new game format, same voice actress that they hired in the last game. And it looks like a lot of people are not happy about that because people are emotionally attached to the product you give them. I really can't say it as many times as I already have, and I know that I probably sound like a broken record. If your product is making your customers feel bad, or if it's making them feel confused, or if it's making them feel conflicted, they're not gonna buy your product again. No matter how much you charge, or no matter how little you charge, it's not gonna fix the revenue that you lose in the end because the product that you promised is not the product that you gave, and the consistency isn't there, and in the end, it just sucks. Looking at their comment section when they review these games, it's very sad to see the overall rapport that HerInteractive has with its fan base and inevitably customers falling down so much. It's terribly sad, and it's something that we should all take note in. I mean, just looking at this comment right here, get the reputation of things being delayed and going downhill so badly. These are all things you do not want your customers saying about your business. And unfortunately, we see that HerInteractive and Nancy Drew is just not doing well with the overall fan base. HerInteractive tried with Midnight in Salem to meet the deadline that they had promised, and it didn't work. They rushed a rebrand that wasn't appealing to the current audience and lost that audience, and then decided to just continue to press forward in the name of new fans with a new voice actress for Nancy, with a new logo for Nancy, for a completely new game format. They were trying to reach a new audience, but because of the reputation of HerInteractive having been so strong with the previous audience, a lot of people were deterred from buying the other Nancy Drew games because consistency with your customers is so important. If you're going to overhaul something, prepare yourself to lose customers and clients in the end, because a lot of people are attached to what they know and what they can trust. So take a lesson from HerInteractive with the Nancy Drew games and find something that you can be consistent with. As a small business owner and entrepreneur, a lot of us cannot afford to stop the momentum that we've already created within our business. We need our customers to be loyal, but the only way to do that is to offer a valuable product that we can replicate and duplicate and not cut corners on. And obviously, that is what happened with Nancy Drew and the HerInteractive team. It got difficult to uphold that promise of a game every year or twice every year. Money got tight, and then they decided to produce what they could. It took 5 years rather than 6 months or a year, and there was a definitive regression in the graphics and the story and everything that the fan base was very emotionally attached to. Remember that your customers are emotionally attached to what your product makes them feel. So don't cut corners, find something that works for you and stay consistent at it. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope this was helpful. I hope as a small business owner, you find the product that you love and your customers love, and you stay the course in consistency so they can trust your excellence and stay emotionally attached to what it is that you were providing with them. Let me know in the comments if there's anything that I missed or anything else that you'd like me to cover from a marketing and branding standpoint. Make sure to like and subscribe and share it with a small business friend or anybody that is looking for better branding and marketing tips, and I'll see you in the next one.